through their international partners. Their main office in Roseau is open from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Mondays to Fridays and 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Home visits and emergency services are also available. Call 448-0100, WhatsApp 276-5213 or visit any of their other locations. Picard in Portsmouth, Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Marigot, Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Or Grand Bay, every first and third Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. La Falaise Medical Laboratory, my choice, your choice, our choice.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here now is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headlines, DOMLEC employees encouraged to develop a health and safety culture. In news from the region, the government of St. Lucia undertaking a comprehensive reclassification of the public service. And internationally, cardinals failed to pick new pope on day one of the conclave. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued. Like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
Welcome back. Human Resource Officer at DOMLEC, Phyllis Tousse, has encouraged DOMLEC employees to develop a health and safety culture. This month, the electricity company is observing Health and Safety Month under the theme Safety a Culture, Not a Chore.
As an electric utility, we operate in environments where split-second decisions, high voltage systems, lifelines, confined spaces, and changing weather conditions are all parts of the job. We work around risk that, if not respected, can lead to life-changing consequences. But those risks can be managed, not just with equipment or checklists, but with the right mindset. That's what this theme is about. Safety isn't a task you check off. It's not just PPE or a tailboard talk. It is a culture. Over the next month, we'll be rolling out initiatives to strengthen this culture, from hazard awareness campaigns and skills refreshers to open forums where you can share your insights and concerns. I encourage every one of you to get involved because every lesson shared is a future incident prevented.
Human Resource Officer at DOMLEC, Phyllis Tousse. Meantime, staff training and educational talks are among the activities to commemorate the Health and Safety Month.
On May 8th and 27th, we will actually be having customer quizzes. On May 9th, it is the Personal Protective Equipment PPE Awareness Day. The frontline staff will be outfitted in full PPE, as well as PPE will be displayed at the Portsmouth and Roseau main office to raise awareness of personal protective. On May 12th and 19th, we will host a series of power talks on the topic of occupational safety and road safety. These public talks will be held to raise awareness about occupational safety and road safety targeting the general public. On May 13th and 14th, there will be presentation at primary schools. On May 16th, there will be basic health checks, free health screening for both internal and external customers, offering a chance to interact with nurses, learn more about your health status, and take preventative actions. On May 20th, the company will conduct a charitable food drive, which will be organized to support the less fortunate. On May 21st and 22nd, the Office of the Disaster Management, ODM, will conduct informative sessions to help staff prepare effectively for the upcoming hurricane season, among many other activities.
Health and Safety Environment Officer at DOMLEC, Brandon Henry. In other news, General Manager of Public Works Corporation, Titus Francis, has expressed optimism over the finances of the corporation. The Public Works Corporation has been hit by financial constraints, forcing employees to receive late payments. Mr. Francis says Public Works will be engaged on several projects in the months ahead.
At this point in time, we cannot normalize it. We have a number of projects in the making. So at least for the next 3-4 months, we expect things to be hyping up. Employees will be engaged. And you realize you have not heard us in the news about late payments and so on. So we're trying to manage that situation very nicely. The employees, we're not doing the employees. And that's my focus, right? Irrespective of what happens, my focus is always to ensure that when it comes to the fortnight, employees get paid. And at the end of the month, we pay our employees. We pay our employees 2 and 3 days now before the end of the month or the fortnight due. And I want that to continue.
General Manager of Public Works Corporation, Titus Francis. Dominicans are being encouraged to take the necessary precautions to guard against dengue fever and leptospirosis as the rainy season approaches. This comes from National Epidemiologist Dr. Charlene Ahmed during a recent health update on the status of dengue and leptospirosis in Dominica.
Since the last update, we have received 5 additional suspected cases of leptospirosis, bringing the total for 2025 to 23 suspected cases and 2 confirmed cases. All but 1 patient have recovered. Unfortunately, 1 death has been recorded for this year. Laboratory testing is pending for the most recent suspected cases, as samples were shipped to CARFA this week. Regarding dengue, we continue to observe sporadic cases. To date, 262 suspected cases have been reported for the year 2025. Of the 85 samples that were tested, only 1 has returned positive for dengue. As we approach the rainy season, we must remain vigilant. Rainfall increases the risk of mosquito breeding as well as exposure to rodent-contaminated water, which can spread both dengue and leptospirosis. It is crucial for all of us to eliminate mosquito breeding sites and manage household waste properly to reduce rodent infestations. Outdoor workers should take added precautions, including wearing waterproof boots, gloves, and when working wet or flood-prone areas, and storing food in rodent-proof containers. If you experience symptoms such as fever, muscle aches, or red eyes after potential exposure to contaminated water or soil, please seek medical attention immediately.
National Epidemiologist Dr. Charlene Ahmed. CEO of Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams, has called on Dominicans to play a role in enhancing the country's tourism sector. Her call to action comes as the Ministry of Tourism officially launched Tourism Awareness Month this morning under the theme Tourism is Everybody's Business. Let's play our part. Several activities to celebrate the month were also announced during a press conference this morning.
This May, we've designed a powerful lineup of events that reflects the inclusive and transformative nature of tourism. Already, we've hosted International Jazz Day, igniting the cultural spirit of Fort Young, and hiked up into nature with the launch of Hike Fest, celebrating our role as the nature island of the Caribbean, of the world. And there's much more to come. We will be hiking breathtaking trails that reveal our island's untouched beauty and biodiversity. We will host school tours to cultivate curiosity and introduce tourism careers to the next generation. We will elevate young voices through the Tourism Youth Congress, where ideas and dreams take center stage. We will connect communities through outreach programs with the Cultural Division. We will honor excellence in the sector at our Tourism Awards Gala. And we will bring together stakeholders, experts, and the public for a high-level panel discussion on the importance of sustainability and the Green Destination Certification. Tourism is not the responsibility of one ministry or agency. It is a shared national mission. And this month is a call to all of us.
CEO of Discover Dominica Authority, Marva Williams. Meanwhile, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Lisa Valmont, says the ministry is committed to achieving the target of 1 million cruise passengers by 2030.
We also recognize the critical role that the cruise industry in driving tourism growth and economic opportunity. Cruise tourism continues to grow steadily, with a clear path towards our ambitious but achievable goal of 1 million cruise passengers by 2030. This growth is not by chance. It is as a result of years of hard work, careful analysis, strong partnerships, and the unwavering leadership and commitment of the government of Dominica. It is also thanks to our dedicated cruise stakeholders, from tour operators and vendors to taxi drivers and entertainers. Cruise industry touches many lives, and its ripple effect is seen in the livelihoods across the island. To further support this vital sector, we will soon be hosting our annual Cruise Symposium, bringing together local stakeholders and international experts to share insights and strengthen collaboration.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Lisa Valmont. President of the Public Service Union and Chairman of the Steering Committee for the Trade Union Congress, Steve Joseph, says trade unions must be united. His statement came as 4 unions held a joint celebration of May Day at Soufriere on Monday. The union, PSU, DAHU, WAHU, and DATA plan to launch a trade union congress on July 9th.
Unions ought to be united. And so our theme is so appropriate that, yes, health is wealth, but I think the central message is unions ought to be united and on the move, especially in these times. In these times when workers seem to have no one in their corner, some workers feel alone. And this is why I think it is important, because today I just reflected on the journey from Roseau to Soufriere. And I said, this looks like the trade union movement. Because we had some at the front, we had some climbing the hill, poco. We had some a little at the back. But I think the central message is no one should be left behind. That those at the front ought to pull those in the middle, and those at the middle pull those at the back. But that in the end we all make it to our destination. To ensure we have the rights of workers not only defended, but that we can gain more for our workers. It is the trade union movement, that won for us the 8-hour day, work day, the 40-hour work week, the maternity leave. We're pushing for paternity leave, 7 days for men to be able to support their spouses, which is good.
President of the Public Service Union, Steve Joseph. Local Government Commissioner Glenroy Touset says there must be a greater sense of partnership between the community and the village council. Touset made the remarks on the DBS Talking Point program as Dominica is this month observing Local Government Month.
We always, and I probably need to say it as well, that the statutory meetings of the councils, they are open to the residents. Any resident can come to a council statutory meeting. So that is open. I probably will need to emphasize that and tell the people, yes, you can come and sit in on a council meeting. You can participate, but you can sit in, you can listen, and of course, if required, you can be called upon to do some intervention, so to speak. I want to encourage the councils to inform their residents that they can do so. Because oftentimes you may hear the residents may be saying, council ain't doing nothing, council is dead. And I often say to the people, you say council is there, but what are you doing to contribute? Because the council is not working in isolation, you know. The council is working with the people for the people. So we have to create that environment where people can feel free. There has to be that sort of dialogue. And so the council themselves must empower the community residents so that they too can participate in, not necessarily in decision making, but participate in the process of development at the community level.
Local Government Commissioner Glenroy Toussaint, and that's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
In news from the region, the government of St. Lucia is undertaking a comprehensive reclassification of the public service. This is aimed at modernizing recruitment standards, aligning job roles with required skills, and addressing long-standing concerns over fairness in promotions, particularly within the police, fire, and correctional services. St. Lucia's Minister for Public Service has acknowledged that the current reclassification system implemented in 1992 is outdated and fails to meet the evolving demands of today's workforce. The minister adds that the reclassification would prioritize a holistic assessment of qualifications, moving beyond academic credentials alone. And internationally, thick black smoke has risen from the Sistine Chapel chimney, signaling that the cardinals meeting in the conclave have not yet agreed on a new pope. Thousands of people gathered in St. Peter's Square to wait for the result of the first vote, which lasted about 3 hours. The 133 cardinals will retire overnight and resume their deliberations tomorrow. They are allowed no communication with the outside world until a new pope is elected. And that's how we end the DBS Evening News Package. Stay tuned for the Evening Sports Report up next.
Covering the nation and beyond, DBS Sports Report.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
Welcome to the DBS Evening Sports Report. Cricket commentator Andrew Mason is reporting that 6 players have been shortlisted for the position of West Indies Test captain. The position of Test captain became vacant following the resignation of Craig Brathwaite earlier this year. Mason says that 6 players have been interviewed and another round of interviews will be conducted soon.
The 6 players who were interviewed are Ruston Chase, Joshua De Silva, Tevin Imlach, Jamal Warkan, John Campbell, and Justin Graves. I'm told that 2 former Test captains are part of the selection process. Also, candidates went through psychometric testing. A second round of interviews are to be conducted shortly, after which the West Indies Test captain will be announced.
Cricket commentator Andrew Mason. The West Indies' next Test assignment is in June against Australia. Head coach of the senior men's national football team, Ellington Sabin, wants his players to grab the opportunity as they prepare to face Barbados in 2 international friendlies starting on Thursday. The friendly matches form part of Dominica's preparations for their 2 remaining matches in the CONCACAF World Cup qualifiers in June. Dominica will play Barbados at 7 p.m. at the DFA Technical Center on Thursday.
Dominican players are full of quality, so we select the quality players as normal. to add to the quality that already exists, and we're just looking forward to seeing them in the game.
All right, let's talk about the training sessions. You would have had them for a few weeks, a few months. Your thoughts, overall impressed as to how the guys are prepared for the 2 games?
But yeah, the guys progressed. I mean, when they started off slow because they were not playing, but as the league started and they started getting some minutes under the belt, they could see the improvement in the quality.
All right, what would you like to see from the team? I know obviously you'd like to see a win, but in terms of the brand of football, with the bigger picture for the World Cup qualifiers, what would you like to see?
It's about possessing the ball and scoring the chances that we create. I mean, you're looking at the league, you can see a lot of the teams create a lot of chances. The midfield we have selected is very strong, like what the rest of the teams. So it's all about seeing them create the chances that they are accustomed to creating and converting the chances against the opponents.
All right, I know a lot of work has been placed, a lot of emphasis has been placed on the physical preparation, but preparing the guys mentally, especially if so many of them making their debuts, what has that process been like?
Really, even this morning we had 2 reaction sessions. It's about the mental preparation for the games, because if you're not prepared mentally, then you can't execute physically. So we try and do a lot of mental preparation, a lot of reaction work in this phase just before the games to ensure that the guys are ready mentally for the job.
And it's a chance for a number of these young players to really step up and raise their hands, put their names in the pool for the World Cup qualifiers, and also to replace some of the veteran players who are on their way out. So what would be your direct word to the youngsters making their debuts?
Go out there and play good football. I mean, the young players play a lot of good football, they bring a lot of energy, so go out there with the energy and play the quality of football they're accustomed to playing. Bring out the quality, bring out their skill and their knowledge, and most of all, like you said, come out with the victory.
Head coach of the senior men's national football team, Ellington Sabin. The full team reads: goalkeepers Jerome Burkhardt and Dante Newton. Defenders Eustace Marshall, Marcus Bridas, Dale Dankben, Shelan Johnville, Shivani Xavier, Filson Lockhart, and Nick Anthony. Midfielders Braille Thomas, Darmario Challenger, Kian Thomas, Corbin Paul, Leon Edwards, Nathan Newton, and the forwards Travis Joseph, Savio Ansem, Odell Laville, Rion Coffey, Antoine Larocque, Marcellus Bonney, Dante Warrington, and Javid George. In other sports this evening, Nerissa Crafton got a half-century and Afi Fletcher a 4-wicket haul as the Windward Islands women made it 2 straight wins as they overpowered the Leeward Islands as the CWI Regional Women's T20 Blaze tournament continued Wednesday. Windwards batted first and made 129 for 7 in their 20 overs. Crafton got 52. Shanae Lee Glasgow 27. The Leewards in reply were bowled out for 76. Afi Fletcher picked up 4 for 11. Seda James 2 for 22. Shanae Lee Glasgow 2 for 13, and Abani Seja 1 for 4. The Windwards won by 53 runs. Meantime, Jamaican all-rounder Shiznell Henry hit the first century of the women's regional T20 Blaze tournament, powering Jamaica to a crushing win over Barbados. Jamaica batted first and made 149 for 5 in their 20 overs. Shiznell Henry made 100 not out of 49 balls. Rashad Williams got 25. Shamilia Cornell picked up 3 for 14. Barbados reached 87 for 4 in their 20 overs to lose by 62 runs. President of the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association, Donnie Robinson, says the 2025 Creole Memorial Cup can open doors for Dominican basketballers. The competition, which will feature teams from Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe, and Benin, takes place later this month in Martinique. Speaking on the Creole Heartbeat program on Wednesday, Robinson says the competition can do a lot to expose Dominican talent.
I think it's monumental. I mean, to be honest, I mean, from a cultural standpoint, first and foremost, it is. I mean, we share similar cultures in terms of our traits. But at the same time, it is also an opportunity to show what we have and to see what's out there. I mean, we try to preach to the young people and even the public, because the public will get a chance to come out and see what we do, what our quality is, what is out there, what the options are, the potential, and just the fair exchange that might go with that. I think it's very important if you're trying to build sports as a line in terms of, you know, giving options to the people that play, and also from the cultural standpoint, the history. I mean, if 4 countries can come together to have a 3-day tournament, I mean, you know, what else can we do? You know, then let's start opening up those doors. So I think it's important. If I have to be selfish just for basketball, I mean, I can well imagine people coming out trying to see what a country from the African continent can do against us and their local players. So I think just from that standpoint, it's huge, and I don't want us to underestimate what it brings to the table.
President of the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association, Donnie Robinson. The DABA has announced an over 30-member squad to begin preparations for the tournament.
Well, we haven't cut down the team yet. We last night was one of our first sessions. We had 25 or so players invited. The turnout last night wasn't the best, and we expect that to improve as we go along. You know, but we don't have much time. The team was basically selected based on most part last season and the early part of the knockout, and just being involved and knowing who's available. We're going to have a challenge for who's available, but regardless of the team that we pick, it will be the best team at the time, based on who's available and who's participating. And I think it comes down to being proud to represent. If you're proud enough to represent, and we know the cause, the who's playing is less important than the big picture. So we know for sure we have the better players on training. As how that evolves into the best team is based on players that are available.
President of the Dominica Amateur Basketball Association, Donnie Robinson. The finalists for the DABS Elias Dupin Knockout Basketball Tournament will be decided tonight as the 4 remaining teams meet in the semifinals at the Massac Indoor Facility. The defending champions, the Dr. Darrow Pishley Sports Club Falcons, will battle the Paybush Super Eagles in the first semifinals at 7 p.m., while the other semifinal will feature the Detroit Blazers taking on the 767 Sports Club Dominators at 9 p.m. The semi-finals will be carried live on DBS Radio and on the DBS Radio social media pages from 7 p.m. The 7th edition of the Dream 11 Nature Isle T10 tournament will get underway from July 13th at the Winter Park. The tournament dates were officially announced last night. League coordinator Liam Sebastian says the Dominica Cricket Association is looking forward to another successful tournament. The Barana Ote Warriors are the defending champions.
Registration opens today. The forms will be distributed. They will be available online as we usually do. It will be sent out to the clubs, teams, and players interested in registering for the draft, which will be held on the 27th of May. So the registration closes on the 20th of May. As we said, it opens today, and we're just appealing to everybody to ensure that they register very early and ensure that their names are in the draft, because we're dealing with technology and some names may slip, or we may have technological issues that if you wait too late may not be able to be rectified. Sorry. So we're just appealing to everybody to register early. One of the changes that you will see this year, the day before the playoff start, which is on the Friday before the final weekend, there will be no matches. So we will give the pitch sort of a breather and give the groundsmen some time to basically have the best track available for the playoff stages. There will be other minor changes that we may have, which will be communicated in due course. But we basically on our way to hosting the next tournament, the 7th edition in July.
Tournament coordinator Liam Sebastian. Joanne Jeremiah came 3 runs short of a century as he helped the Windward Islands Infernos to a win over Jamaica to qualify for the playoff round of the CWI Emerging Players Tournament last night. The Windwards became the first team to get a score of over 200 in the tournament as they posted 211 for 6 in their 20 overs. Joanne Jeremiah hit 97 off 50 balls, the highest score in the tournament. Teddy Bishop got 44 and Alec Afanes 34. Jamaica responded with 125 all out. Defma Anderson got 35, Darrell Cyrus took 2 for 16, and Keon Gaston 2 for 14, and Kyron Phillip 1 for 27. The Windwards won by 86 runs. Windwards captain Alec Afanes was happy with the batting performance last night.
When you look at the batting department, like we have been losing wickets in the power play, and today we didn't really do that. What we really wanted to do is to take it as deep as possible, and as long as we have wickets in hand, we basically score 200 like you saw. And again in the bowling department, I think probably the power play is another big thing, but we did well today, and credit to the guys.
We have you right now at 9 points away from Trinidad in first. What is the seriousness of your pursuit for that #1 spot, which you play tomorrow?
I think right now I think the list of our worries now is the points. Right now we have to focus on executing. That is the main thing, and make sure we plan well and execute.
Lastly, before you go, why is the Windward Islands Infernos a force to be reckoned with in this tournament?
Normally we are set as underdogs, and we basically have nothing to lose, and we're coming up, and we are a young team, hungry, looking to paint an image, looking to make a name for ourselves. So I think I wouldn't say we are forced to reckon with them. Just don't take us lightly.
Windward's captain Alec Afanes. The Windwards will play the Leewards in their next match tonight. In the other match yesterday, Shakir Parrish